Call to order.
We made it.
Good afternoon, everyone, on this beautiful November day. Listen to Doerge drive out here. We live in
And what
such a-
about Proposition B?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get to that, but yes, we can start.
Yay!
Cheers. Yeah.
Yes.
I went to
Yes,
the library today to pick up a book, and my friend of mine that I know pretty well, we talked about the air conditioning. And he wasn't there, but I wanted to tell him, guess what? You're gonna get air conditioning.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get down here, but anyway, so call to order. We've had our roll call, and has taken care of that. The agenda for this afternoon, does anybody have anything they wish to add, changes to make? All good, okay. So do we have an emotion to approve the agenda for today?
I so move.
And
And I second.
All right. All right, did
Does
everybody have?
anybody know where Linda is?
She's here.
She's here. I
Oh,
see her. Yeah.
oh. Well, I don't.
Scroll.
Forward.
I'm,
She's here now?
yeah, no,
Go ahead.
I'll do view again. Never mind. There are other things to talk about.
Well, we can assure you she's here.
Okay.
Okay, did everybody have a chance to look over the minutes from the September 14th meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Any changes or revisions? All right, so do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Second, all right. Okay, all right, open time for public expression.
Can I have, the person isn't here, but a young man was asking me a question and I thought I would put that out to the commission or to those who would know better. He works at home, as many do. He's a remote worker and he loves the fact that the library is a resource for him to do that. And he was wondering if there's ever any consideration, because he said many young people I know who work at home, if there was like a privacy pod or something where you could make reserve it for X amount of time for conference calls. And I said, well, I don't know, but I'll throw it out there and see if there's any response or.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, he said it would be such a popular thing. It would be people, because the library is a wonderful resource to have when you're stuck in your little apartment or whatever working, to have another alternative. But he said if that was an added benefit, the fact that you could actually have a conference call scheduled and then have a place to go to take it where you're not conflicting with someone else. And I said,
Technical answer requires our question requires a technical answer from the staff.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
You're so technical, Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, Lana, it looks like Lana tapped me to respond.
You got passed down the table.
You're gonna be Yes, no, I think that's a great suggestion, and it's something that I think as we've evolved with the pandemic, that is one of those creative solutions that a lot of people are looking for and are already doing in our spaces. And so if we could find a way to make it, a more supportive and comfortable environment to be able to take those conference calls, I think that would be a wonderful addition. And hopefully we've received the funding to support that tangible idea. But I think we would have to circle back and make sure we connect with, all the stakeholders, the technology team and the branches, and to see, make sure we're getting more community input to make sure that that's something we could explore.
Okay, well, I'll tell them it's something that's going to, we'll have to talk to the tech people and all, but there's a possibility of maybe that could happen or it'll be explored to some extent.
Consideration.
Consideration. Okay, well, that's good. Okay. Yeah, always good.
Tell them thank you for voting yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And everybody, I hope had a chance to look at the reading and correspondence file that Ed and Diana sent out. Thank you for doing that. Check all that out.
That was extensive.
Yes, it was. Oh, Terrific.
Wow.
So for my report, I just want to start out again. Measure B was, we were elated. There were some of us from the Measure B committee that hung out at the Corte Madera branch last night with some pizza and nibbles and waited for the results to come in. What was it, about 8:15, 8:20? And we were obviously over the moon.
Yeah.
It was a great team that worked on it. And I want to thank all of you for your efforts also. I know some of you helped get signs out. There was text messaging, there was emailing, there were all kinds of, endorsements and donations and things. So it really was a great collective effort on behalf of everyone to get it passed. And it's terrific. And it's wonderful that we went out early because now we can make plans going down the line and actually have a solid roadmap for the things that need to be done, air conditioning or whatever it is. So it's really terrific that we've got this 9 years ahead of us now. So
And it goes until what year?
it's 9
9
years.
years. It starts
9
in
years up
2020.
from,
24, yeah, right.
33,
Yeah, so
30, 30.
Right.
right.
So I gotta
Contact-
say,
2030.
you actually, you ac- you actually,
Judy Schultz.
you actually knew at 8:30 that we were over 63%. You actually knew at 8:30?
We knew it
8:15.
8:15, and I forget what number of precincts were counted at that point, but at that point it was 73% yes. So, and it was quite a few precincts that have reported at that point.
Wow.
So the final numbers will come in on, but I don't think it's going to vary a whole lot from that 70, 30, somewhere.
I think
in
a lot
there.
of people do early
A
voting.
lot of early voting, right, and I think we were all, as we were getting to it, very optimistic about it because there was no negative anything anywhere. You often see these measures where there's a lot of letters back and forth in the IJ or something, and I don't know who can say no to libraries. But nobody did, which is great news. So
Great.
again, it gives us the funds to do some forward planning, which is great. And I'm sure we'll hear more from the library staff about that moving forward as they begin to look at those funds and how they're going to roll out. So again, thank you to everybody here who helped make it happen. It was terrific. And it was fun to work on the campaign with a great group of people too. I hope that some of you had a chance to get to the Fairfax Garden grand opening last weekend on the 29th. And if you didn't, I highly recommend you go out there and take a look at the work that was done. The landscaping is stunning. It's beautiful. It's well thought out. It's going to be drought tolerant and all those things we know we need to think about. The pavers are wonderful that are all laid out in the kind of the patio area with some outdoor furniture. And I think it's just going to be a tremendous space for that branch when the weather's good. It's funny, it's like it rained the next day, they got it all ready to go and then it rains.
Oh, well. Great.
So well, but if you haven't had a chance, next time you go through Fairfax, pop in and just take a look at it because it really was exceptionally well done. So I'm really pleased with that. Another piece of news is that John McLeod has resigned the commission, and that's due to an address change and a change in districts. So that just something we have to make sure that we have the right number of commissioners per district. So we do have some vacancies now that we really need to step back and take a look at. We have a vacancy in District 5 and 2 vacancies in District 3. So I'm hoping that any of you.
Can you tell us what the districts are?
District 5 is Novato, right? And District 3 is Mill Valley and Sausalito and sort of southern Marin.
Yeah.
So if you go on the Marin website, you can look and it'll show you the exact geographies because there's some funny shaped districts in Marin County.
Yeah.
We may have a potential for somebody in District 5 that I'm going to actually be having coffee with next week. So we may get that one taken care of. But we do have definitely in that Mill Valley, Southern Marin, need a couple of folks. So if you have any friends or know of any, please encourage them to join this illustrious group.
What is the process for recruiting?
Well, the recruiting is actually, if you know somebody, is talking to them about it and telling them about the commission and what we do and, why you think they might be a great asset to join us. And if they're interested, they certainly can attend a meeting because it is open to the public if they want to see what we do. And if they are interested, then there's an application that gets filled out.
Do you get the librarians involved? Because in Fairfax, one of the librarians approached me. And I thought,
Being on the commission?
I don't think they can be on the commission. This is
Probably
community.
To invite.
Oh, to invite,
Oh, to
absolutely.
invite,
They can
yeah.
Invite somebody, absolutely. If they
Okay.
know someone, that's terrific.
well, why don't you, because that was, she knew I was a friend of the library and I was a frequent user. And she just, and we had little conversations off and on. She said, there's a vacancy from our district on the library commission, and that got me engaged. And that was I thought, an excellent way to do it.
Great.
I don't know how else it would
Well,
happen.
I found it with an ad not an ad,
IJ.
but it was in the IJ.
Yeah, okay.
And then there was an
There always
announcement that there was a commission
vacancies,
opening
yeah.
for District
Yeah.
1. They
Mhm.
explained what District 1 was, and then I don't think they went into the whole process,
Right,
but
right.
it was probably call somebody and find out more. So I think that's a really good,
Yeah, I
way to
saw
do it
mine on
too.
next door, so that's a good idea. Maybe
Oh.
we should figure out how to get that posted again then. And then we can certainly connect, because Marin City is part of that district. Connect with the library staff down there to say, hey, do you know of anybody who's a patron who comes in here that you think would be a good addition? So.
What about
we could-
putting notices at the libraries that are in those districts?
Yeah, we could put up
We can.
we could.
And can everyone hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can.
Yeah,
Okay, great. And then the supervisors are well aware of the vacancies as well. So they send out notices about the vacancies through their channels as well, which is probably how it got to Nextdoor or the IJ. And Supervisor Moulton Peters, who's the supervisor for District 3, is aware of the 2 vacancies. So they reached out to us and said, what would be a good addition to the commission? What are you
Yeah.
looking for? So we're in close connection with them on the vacancies, but all of these are great suggestions for just getting that local connection in the branches.
We need to work through Marin City because that's the only library in Mill Valley and Sausalito that's in our district.
well, that's under the umbrella of the.
Yeah, that's key, is Marin City.
Absolutely.
So we need to promote that in Marin City. Maybe the Web Stars, who knows?
It's a good idea. That's a great idea. Duly noted.
Yeah, you ask somebody in Sausalito Mill Valley, they go, well, I go to my library, it's not yours, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah, we talked to ATN too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great, yeah.
I think the branch would be happy to share any information that we create for them. So just as soon as it's created.
Oh, terrific.
I'll push it out.
Oh, dear, that cough. Oh, my goodness.
You sound like me.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's pretty much my president's report. Moving on to item number 8, which is old business. There was work done on the bylaws over the summer and the board had approved them. I believe it was at our August meeting. And then we took it to the Board of Supervisors and they were approved on the 18th of October on the consent calendar. No questions, just approved. So we're good on the revisions that were made.
I have a question.
Sure.
Was our terms, I didn't see where our terms were extended.
Well, our terms now are a total of, how does that work? It's 3 consecutive terms or no more than 12 years, right? Because we have those people that come in mid-term. So that's what we settle on, is no more than 3 consecutive or 12 total years.
And the previous maximum was 9.
9, right?
The language clarified, though,
So it's
taking
still,
over the
it's
terms
still,
of others as well as full terms.
it's still the same.
How much is a term? 3 years?
3 years.
3 years. So now what could have happened before is somebody could have come in halfway through and picked up somebody else's term, but then
Yeah.
they would have only been able to have really 2 more terms. But this way they can come in halfway through and still have 3 full terms of their own for a total of 12 years. So that was the clarification that we made.
Okay, so if I leave now, I can come back in 3 years?
The language only says consecutive.
Well, it's just
Don't
consecutive.
go, don't go.
Consecutive, right. Well, yes, I mean, there's that, but just at the technical level,
Right.
um,
I guess so.
a break of a year means it's no longer consecutive and it
It's
restarts the clock.
starts all over again,
Mhm.
right?
oh, I see, okay.
Okay, so a break of a year, I'll take, okay,
Not
that
allowed.
Ah.
All right.
Mhm.
Right, so that's where we ended up with in terms of the terms. And then some of the other language was just bringing some of our diversity, equity, and inclusion language into the bylaws also. So with that being said, we had talked last summer about elections and the fact that basically my term was up and the vice president's term was up. With the way it is now, we really don't have to have an election until unless you want to have an election, so we don't really have to have one. I can continue on where I am, and then we kind of start that clock all over again with the president's term in the summertime.
I think that makes
Can
sense.
you run again?
Yeah.
I can run again. Yes, I can run again. You can be, 6 maximum years, so I can run again. All right, so then, all right, that's the first thing. Second thing is Ali, who's our vice president, wants to step down. He just feels he's got too much on his plate right now, and he wants to step down now
From that
rather
position? or
from that
the
position.
commission?
No,
Okay.
from the vice
Okay.
president, but
Right.
step down now rather than wait all the way until July.
Right.
So we do have the VP position open, and we do need to hold an election on that. So my suggestion is that we all think about that and come back and do that maybe at our January meeting, because December is really more of a social event anyway. And remind me, who was on the committee?
I was.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if you two could revisit that.
And then,
Yeah, if we
Nick,
could
yeah.
revisit that, and then we'll come back in January and we'll get that
Okay.
position filled. And then that will be a half year, right? Then that would be a January to July. And then that would have to be re-elected again in the summertime, correct?
Okay.
Or would that would this clock start ticking then?
you guys will look at the
All of these
bylaws.
constitutional
Yeah.
things, we'll have to,
Yeah, that's a little different.
we'll let you know on that.
Does,
Yeah.
you look at the bylaws, the specificity of what term you choose
Right.
would be very important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll check that out. We'll let you know. We'll let you know that.
Is there a description of the responsibilities and duties in the bylaws? I haven't looked at that.
There's a
Let me
very
take a look.
brief
like a
description,
line.
and you can find the bylaws on our website, so marinlibrary.org. You can also find the bylaws on the County of Marin Board and Commission page for the Library Commission. So both bylaw pages have been updated. You can access them there to have them in front of you.
Okay.
And speaking of the county web pages, we do have a few of you that we do not have lovely photographs of you for. So we'll be reaching out to you. We'd love it if you came with your best smile to the December meeting so we can get a picture and get that up on the website. Okay. And one last thing for me is the training we need to do, the online training, just reminding everybody that that's due December 1st. And I think 1 or 2 people had trouble accessing the quiz part of it. Or did everybody get that straightened out now? The quiz you have to do at the end to get the certificate? Is
I
everybody
never
okay
found
on
the
that?
quiz.
Never found the quiz.
Wait, there were 2, there was the ethics training and then there's the Brown Act training.
The
So
ethics training definitely has clear
that does have it.
questions throughout, and then at the end but there's no questions for the Browns training.
I haven't
Brown
seen
It's
it.
the ethics training that it's the ethics training that you need to do that has the quiz at the
Oh,
end.
yeah, that was
Right.
easy.
Yeah.
Okay, that was easy then. So everybody, okay, so if you haven't done it, again, it's due on December 1st.
Oh,
So we'll get-
But Edna, let us know if I did it, and I hope you got it.
You did do it.
And you got it, okay.
And so is there not a quiz for the Brown Act training then?
There isn't one.
I think so.
No,
Just have to-
no, it was a tutorial.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. You just never get the
So
answer if
It's
we don't get
it's
the
the
right
honor
answer.
system?
Yes. Okay, good. I can check that off then. All right. Well, with that, I would like to turn it over to the library staff because we have a report this afternoon on adult services. So I'm going to turn it over to you folks.
All right, well, I'll kick us off. Janet, Shereen, do you want to pull up the presentation?
Share my screen.
Beautiful.
She could mute.
Yeah, she could mute herself. Anna, can you mute?
okay.
All right,
I think it's big too.
ready to rock, Janet, Shereen?
Ready,
All right.
ready?
Well, it, well, it is my pleasure to kick off our presentation on adult services at MCFL. And I'm Ramona Little Taylor, Deputy Director of Marin County Free Library. And joining us today from Zoom are Janet Doerge, who is our branch manager at Novato, and Shereen Ash, who is the librarian too at Corte Madera. So I have the pleasure of introducing everyone and then turning it over to the team who are going to talk about adult services at MCFL. And one focus, this is a priority for MCFL, especially with the focus on serving older adults in Marin, knowing that our population is what it is, and we look forward to support. So I'll turn it over to Janet and Shereen.
Great. Hi, everyone. Great to see you all again today. You're lucky you had good weather to go out to the coast. So that's awesome. Shereen and I have divided our presentation into 4 areas. We're going to talk about technology support, social connection, civic engagement, and what's coming up for adult services. And just to remind you what adult services is about, we are a committee of library staff from around the county, and we have a mission of providing welcoming, equitable, and inclusive opportunities for adult self-development and independent learning. And we foster connections and community participation with special attention to demonstrated community needs, including digital literacy and aging. And first, I'm going to talk about technology support. It's been a big focus for us this year. It always is, but this year we were acting in response to the surveys that went out to our community last year. And a lot of people commented that they needed the technology help. Ooh, I see surveys spelled.
Survey.
Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. We were responsive to our servery. Got a lot of responses that people needed help. And so we responded. We've already had a really successful programming called All Things Apple, which can have, 100 people or more attending. This is an online session that continued throughout the pandemic, and it's a volunteer presenter who talks about all things Apple, and it's still going, and it's really successful. But we realized we didn't have the Android side of things. There's a lot of people who are still Android and PC oriented. So the Adult Services Committee, mainly through Amanda Tomlin, who is an adult services librarian here in Novato, she contacted Technology for Life. They are a Marin nonprofit, and they've been providing technology help in person and virtually for a long time. And them being a nonprofit, we thought it was a great partner. So they have started a series of classes through the library. It's now on our events page. It's Technology for Life, and it's Android focused. The first one last month was about Gmail, and so it's kind of focused on that aspect. And coming up tonight is Google Workspace. Upcoming are organizing photos with Google Photos. And then we've got smartphone basics coming up, and social media, among other things. And we're very excited about this and grateful for the support of the Friends of the Library who are paying for this. Technology for Life did not ask for an exorbitant fee, but the Friends of the Library is supporting their fee. Another thing that we kicked off, we've always done this, but we've done it now in a more organized way. Offering one-on-one help to patrons downloading library ebooks and digital resources. You get your new iPhone or your new iPad, and we see a big uptick after the holidays. People want to know how they can get the sources on their devices, and we're more than happy to help people. So next up is Shereen, who's going to talk about social connections.
A lot of what we do through our one-to-one interactions in the branch, as well as through our programming efforts, are really centered around that human connection. And for many people, the library is an important source of human connection, contact, you know, sort of a way to meet people or to get to know your library staff. I know when I sent out a letter at the start of the pandemic just to say, hey, we're here, we're thinking of you, I got back a number of responses from people that just said, we really miss you. I really miss you. I miss coming in. I miss the staff. I miss browsing. This is an important part of my social life. So we're very aware that just our day-to-day transactions are significant. But we also do particular programming that you know, gives a focus to that as well. So a couple things, book clubs, you know, sort of a library standard, have really continued on through the pandemic and are now, there's a mix, there's some online and in person. And that, you know, I was really taken with a report from our library staff person, Jane at Bolinas Library, who was saying that the book club there has just been such an important part of maintaining social connections through the closure. And people really commented on that, and they continued to meet safely outside. And they really articulated the value of getting together to discuss books and to see each other. So we really want to continue that. There's a knitting group at Novato that's just started up. We've had at my library at Corte Madera some in-person yoga classes, chair yoga, and I know Fairfax Library has done the same too. In terms of our online programming, we have a rich offering of online programming every month. And it gets together a community of learners. So for instance, we have master gardeners, Marin master gardeners, and so folks that are interested in gardening, who already have gardens or who are curious to learn more, that's a way for them to get together. So we emphasize recreation, knowledge building, and there is some connecting that goes on even in the online format. So we've had talks, as you note on the screen, I focused a lot on health concerns. Certainly long COVID is a significant topic of concern. I partner with the Alzheimer's Association to provide very helpful information, again, harking back to that our population is aging, so that's something we're really mindful of. Had a wonderful ER doc from Kaiser talk about stroke prevention. It was a great talk, very informative. And recently, just last week, we had a talk on managing loneliness. And this topic was suggested to me at Corte Madera during our community chat. And I was very taken with the idea because, of course, it's so significant. Loneliness is a real concern for all of us, and some more than others. So we had a wonderful psychologist give a lengthy discussion, very specific, very thorough on the talk. So we try to be responsive to community interests, to individual interests, as well as to reading the zeitgeist to see, oh, what's topical? Well, yes, we should partner with Legal Aid of Marin to give talks on how not to be evicted during the lockdown, because that's significant and timely. So there's both what we imagine or what we perceive as useful, and then there's what the community tells us is useful. So with that, we can go on to the next slide.
Can I ask a quick question before we go? Thanks. Because it has to do probably with the issue of managing loneliness or making social connections. I know in Southern California, at some of the libraries here, they had what was called a grandparents read, and like for 2 hours or a week, there'd be one, or maybe each day there'd be somebody who'd come in for an hour or two. And if a parent comes and wants to look for a book and can leave their child there and they'll read to them, it was really a very popular program, and it was very inclusive of the senior community, where they were actively engaged with the community and involved. They weren't just being talked to. So I was wondering if there's any room for something like that. in
So
the-
if I understand you correctly, it's a volunteer reading
Yes.
program where older folks read to children while their parents get books at the library.
Correct, or do research or whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly something to consider. I mean, we have a Reading Buddies program, which is a little bit different at some of our branches, but the intergenerational part of that is also very appealing. So thank you for the suggestion. I think
Sure.
we'll talk about, we'll talk about it, and yeah,
Great.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
So another one of our roles we see is staying connected and involved with the larger arena around us. I'll do this kind of backwards and say, you know, we just had a vote, and one of our roles is to encourage our community to vote. We couldn't say vote yes on B, but we could say vote. And we encourage it in every election. We've always got voter registration forms, signage that says, you know, register to vote, your vote counts. Every year we work with the League of Women Voters, who send us a lot of pamphlets and information. We try to hold a live program with the League of Women Voters so they can talk about candidates and issues, and those are always very well attended. Our website is flush with voter information, and we just kind of try to, you know, the information is there if people want to read it and learn, and we see that as an important role. And the other is coming up next year or at the end of this year when people start thinking about their taxes. Years ago, we used to provide full taxes to everyone, and we became the one-stop shop. We've kind of gotten away from providing many paper tax forms, but we do provide free access. People can print their tax forms free from our computers. And we provide some tax booklets, and one of our libraries, Fairfax, has the art tax preparation each year. And we also, again, provide informative blog posts and information on our website. We all feel very committed to keeping this going every year.
So what's next? We're just closing out this year. So as Janet mentioned, our computer training with Technology for Life will continue on into next year, both in English, and there's some Spanish classes as well, which we're very excited about. There are 6 to 8, I believe, coming up. All Things Apple continues on Tuesdays at 2 for an hour and a half, and that will continue on throughout the year. A couple programs as we close out the year. It tends to be a little bit quieter because people are engaged in, you know, the holidays and family things. So it's a little bit quieter time. But next week there'll be a program on local history, which is a very, very popular topic. And the authors of the Long COVID Survival Guidebook are going to be doing an author event, a panel discussion. So I think that that's an important program too, that we'll be hosting in December. Another feature about our programming and establishes continuity and brings value to our website are the programs are recorded and available on our YouTube channel. So I've given you the website. It's a little bit clunky, but if you just go to YouTube and type in Marin County Free Library, you can sort by adults. Of course, you could also see the story times, which are a lot of fun, and there's some cool craft programs as well. But for people who haven't, you know, who've missed the program, this is a really great way to recap, you know, to be able to see it, or perhaps they just, you know, want to see it again. Some of our programs are very popular and get a lot of views. The beekeeping program had over 400 views, for instance. So it's just always fun to see what's of value. So we will continue to be responsive to community needs and to look at new services such as the one Anne suggested, and thank you for that. And we're going to start the planning process at our December Adult Services meeting to really talk about what we want to accomplish in the coming year, how it fits into our mission statement for the committee, and of course for the library itself. So I do want to take this opportunity, since you are an engaged and interested audience, to ask if there are any services, programs, enhancements for adults that you would like to see the library preserve or work on for the coming year.
I have a suggestion
Okay.
that kind of tags on to tax time. Required minimum distribution time. You know what that is?
Yes.
Why don't you go on?
Okay, everybody over 65 who has an IRA needs to take money out of their IRA by the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
If they don't, they're penalized pretty dramatically. So it might be worth making note of that. Called required minimal distribution. You have to make it by the end of the year or you get taxed heavily for not doing it.
I think it's 72, Nick.
72, yeah, I believe.
Yeah, okay, 72. You're right. 72 and a half. You're right.
Yeah.
So that's adults. Those are all seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a tendency to forget.
So you're suggesting a reminder notification.
A reminder about be sure and take out your required minimal distribution for the year before December 31st.
Okay, thank you. I've noted that.
Nobody else is over 72 besides me? Anya, where are you?
I'm not going to admit it.
Isn't there?
Are there any?
It's also, if you have an inherited IRA, you also have to take it out, even when you're younger, if the person you inherited from was already taking things out.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. The details, yeah.
There's a lot of details.
Some financial programs could be in order.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
that
Yeah.
is a great.
Any other ideas, suggestions? Well, if you think of something, let us know. You know where to find us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that, we will end with a concluding quote by author Zadie Smith. I'll read it. We can all see it, but it's nowadays, I know the true reason I read is to feel less alone, to make a connection with a consciousness other than my own. And I think that sort of harks back to our one of our main goals in terms of providing reading material and our sense of really wanting to foster connection. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's excellent.
Great.
Presentation.
All right.
All right. Any other questions for the team here? Okay, all right. We'll turn it over to Lana here for the director's report.
Great. So in my written director's report, I mentioned a few of the technologies we're working on in the library, all with the goal of the ease of checking out materials and getting materials into patrons' hands more quickly. So our RFID tagging project will be wrapping up in November. We will be, after MCFL completes all libraries in Marin, so city libraries and MCFL will be completely tagged for this project, which is an amazing accomplishment. Once we finish tagging, we'll move towards an automated material handler sorting machine, which will help us just move materials more quickly than we are and get things distributed around Marin County. So really speed up. If you want that book, we're going to try and get it to you as quickly as possible. So all of that is to come. And really the greatest news I can talk about today is the passage of Measure B. And one of the things I want to be sure to take a moment to say is we worked incredibly hard on the campaign for months, a year before we came to this day yesterday. But really, it was a moment in time to celebrate our staff who do this campaigning every single day. It is, their work, their connection, as Shereen and Janet were saying, with people all through the COVID environment that got us to where we are today with the vote of yes on Measure B. So a huge thank you and applause for our staff. And as Sue mentioned, now that we have this secured funding and relief, we have so many exciting ideas for what we want to see. So, a lot of it coming from responsive community survey. We have facility needs. So this renewal is for a period of 9 years, $4.7 million annually. We will take those funds and look to match what our facilities need. And we will plan that out over the next 9 years and see what our impacts can be. We will look at staffing. We know so many of our locations need more staff. We will look at our outreach services. How do we reach communities along the coast that we are not reaching now that are requesting services? So there's a lot to come and a lot of planning to do. And we'll receive the funds in 1 year. So we've got a little bit of time to set our strategy and path going forward, which is very exciting. And two of the library's main goals that work in companion with this funding is that early in 2023, we'll start our strategic planning process to get all of our staff on the same page, working with commission, stakeholder groups on our path forward for probably the next 3 years. And then we will have a major facilities assessment in our next fiscal year. So starting June 2023, to really look at our own facilities and what needs to be done now. So we get a realistic picture of how much we need to invest. So the library is in great shape for planning going forward. I think we're all excited to jump in and do the work. And again, just the relief of having that secure funding and also the continued support of all of our stakeholder groups. So the Friends of the Library, the Commission, the Foundation, and all our partners. So it's a great day today and great month. So thank you.
Great place to be. Terrific. All right, moving on to item 11, announcements. I just want to remind everyone that our December meeting, oh my God, it's going to be December already, is going to be at the Ann Kent Room, and we're having a presentation. We won't really be having a regular meeting. We'll just be having a presentation, and then we will have our holiday festive event, which we haven't been able to do in a few years. And I was going to suggest maybe we do it as potluck this time.
Yeah.
Everybody goes up to that and bring some nibbles and snacks and all that. We'll meet at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and we can figure that out. We can get an email out and everybody can do a sign up. And so after the presentation, we can have some fun with just kind of relaxing a little bit and seeing each other and visiting and having a little festive cheer.
When is that?
That was December
14th, I think.
December 14th, yes.
14th, yeah.
And where is it going to be?
And Camp Room.
In what?
At the
At the Civic Center.
It will be at the.
Oh,
annex.
it'll be
California.
at the annex, right?
Which is our Los Gatos
Okay.
facility.
Oh,
Okay.
almost. Okay, so it's
Okay.
Where is the annex?
It's the big building next door.
It's right off of San Pedro, excuse me, not San
No.
Pedro Road.
right
Yeah.
Lucas
Lucas
Valley.
Valley
Lucas
Road.
Valley Road.
Lucas Valley Road.
Okay.
It's where the sheriff's office is and the new Kaiser and
Okay,
technical services.
okay. Thank you.
Formerly, or in the past years, we would each bring a book that then was distributed somehow. I do remember.
Oh,
mine.
right. Yeah, that's a good
A
idea.
book, a children's book,
Yeah.
a new one, and I'd like to propose that we do that again.
I think it's a lovely idea.
Sounds great.
That's great.
Would somebody please send directions to this room?
Thank you.
Yes, we will. We will do that.
Thank you.
I think the last time we did the book collection, I took books to the fire station where they had the Toys for Tots
Mhm.
collection.
Yeah, and I think one of the times that you all did it, I took some
So you
down
did
there too.
good. Yeah, tends to
So
be a
someone
lot.
will make
It's-
sure.
It's a lot to carry.
Great.
We get a lot of books.
Yeah,
I think it's a lovely idea.
in Marin City, for the Marin City distribution.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
great.
Thanks, Valerie,
Bring a
for that
book.
reminder.
Yeah, thank you for that, because it's been a few years. Been able to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was quick today. Anything else?
Yes, the date for that meeting is December
14.
14th?
14th.
Yes.
And it's in the annex, and directions will be sent. We bring a children's book and it's potluck.
Yes.
And
And we'll send out a sign up sheet for the potluck, so we
Great, so we
don't
won't
end
all
up with
bring
all
chocolate
desserts.
chip cookies.
With all desserts, we can just do all desserts.
That might not be terrible.
Actually, maybe not. Do we want to just do like everybody bring a sweet treat? I don't,
Yeah.
whatever.
What time is the meeting? What time?
4:00.
4.
What time? 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
I have a question for the Court of Madera lady. That was a wonderful presentation. I was on mute, so I couldn't, apparently nobody saw my gestures. That was a wonderful presentation. I wonder if you have shared it countywide,
Which presentation?
the one you just did
Oh, with Janet?
about the adult learning.
We gave a presentation to all of our staff about, when was it? 9 months ago, 10 months ago. So we've shared, each of the committees have shared the work that they have done with the rest of the staff so that we educate each other about what we're doing. Because sometimes
The rest of the staff at your library or all the libraries?
all the Marin County Free staff have been invited. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good point. We do need to make sure we all know what we're doing. The whole staff knows what each committee is doing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we all know that there's Marin County Free and then there's all the city libraries. To what extent do Lana, for example, you coordinate these kinds of things, like feeding off of each other? I'm sure they've got great ideas and great programs, not that we don't, obviously there's tons of them. But I mean, is there any sort of formal connection there? Or are we just, everybody does their own thing?
We just added this feature during my time to we meet monthly with all the directors.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
All libraries.
of all the libraries. So we're part of the MarinNet board. And that's how, we're joined by JPA, so we can share our collections and our catalogs. So you can go to Larkspur and check out our books, same catalog, no hiccup there. So we added a collaboration partnership feature to our agenda every month because the same question.
Okay.
I was like, well, we're doing summer reading. Who else is doing summer reading? And who wants
Why
to partner?
reinvent the wheel?
Right.
So we, the directors collaborate on upcoming things we're looking for or at and see if there's interest there or share. We had great success with our Story Walk project that Madeline and a group of staff were leading. So there was a lot of partnerships there. One from Marin City partnered with Sausalito and it was Mill Valley, right? So that was 2 other MarinNet libraries that we partnered on. And then there are working groups within MarinNet that also communicate on a probably monthly basis about things. So it's, especially coming out of COVID, it's on our agenda as things begin to ramp up more. We're looking at restarting our Poet Laureate program again, because that's been in hiatus, and Mill Valley Library is expressed an interest in being a partner there. So yes, it makes sense. There's a lot of talent in our region. So we want to look to continue this collaborations.
Great, thank you.
Maybe at some point down the line, we could do a report on that, just to sort of hear the scope of all the activity.
It would be really interesting, yeah.
That's terrific. Okay. Anything else before we adjourn for the afternoon?
I wanted to give a compliment regarding the formatting of the library packet. It's much more streamlined and easier to read all of it. I appreciate how there's been work done on the formatting of it.
The newsletter?
Yeah, the newsletter that we
Yeah,
received.
I agree. It was easy to read this time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of work goes into that.
We're glad you're reading it. Okay, well, with that, at 10 minutes to 3, we will adjourn the, and happy Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
everybody.
happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You.